Uncover the mysterious ancient fortress of Masada, a place where history whispers secrets from sheer cliffs overlooking the Dead Sea. Today, we'll unravel the enigma of this ancient stronghold, built by a paranoid king and besieged in a dramatic revolt that echoes through time. What hidden engineering marvels sustained life on this isolated plateau? How did Roman legions conquer its impregnable walls? And could the legendary mass suicide be more myth than fact? We'll explore these questions and more, drawing from archaeological digs and scholarly debates to reveal lesser-known truths about Masada's past. Perched on a rugged mesa in the Judean Desert, the ancient fortress of Masada rises like a sentinel from the arid landscape, its cliffs dropping over 1,300 feet to the valley below. Constructed during the reign of Herod the Great between 37 and 31 BCE, this was no ordinary refuge. It was a lavish palace fortress, designed for both opulence and defense. Herod, ever fearful of rebellion, transformed the plateau into a self-sufficient haven, complete with grand halls, bathhouses, and storage for years of supplies. Imagine the ingenuity. Massive cisterns carved into the rock collected rainwater from fleeting desert storms, holding enough to support hundreds in isolation. These water systems and engineering feat of the ancient world funneled every drop through aqueducts and channels, ensuring survival amid desolation. But Masada's story doesn't begin with Herod. Hints in biblical texts suggest it may have served as a hideout for King David centuries earlier, fleeing from Saul's wrath. Though direct evidence is sparse, scriptures allude to a stronghold in the wilderness, sparking intrigue about its deeper roots. Fast forward to the 1st century CE, and Masada becomes a symbol of defiance during the Great Jewish Revolt against Rome. In 66 CE, a group of rebels known as the Sicarii, zealous fighters named for their concealed daggers, seized the fortress from a Roman garrison. Led by Eleazar ben Yair, they turned it into a base for raids, holding out against the empire's might. Archaeological excavations in the 1960s, led by Yigael Yadin, brought Masada's ruins to light, confirming much of what the historian Flavius Josephus described in his accounts. Yet discrepancies emerged, adding layers of mystery. Josephus spoke of a single palace, but digs revealed two, a sprawling northern one with 3 terraced levels cascading down the cliff, adorned with frescoes and mosaic floors in vibrant hues, and a western palace woven into the fortifications. These mosaics, with patterns of fruits and geometric designs, matched Josephus's note on stones of several colors, but his estimates of wall heights, towering up to 90 feet, seem inflated, perhaps for dramatic flair. Such embellishments make us question, was Josephus a former rebel turned Roman collaborator, shaping history to suit his narrative? As we probe further, consider the storehouses, long rooms packed with provisions like grain, oil, and wine, preserved in the dry climate for nearly 2 millennia. Yadin's team uncovered jars still bearing traces of their contents, a testament to Herod's foresight. But a lesser-known chapter unfolds in the Byzantine era around the 5th century AD, when Christian monks repurposed the site as a hermitage. They built a modest church with a nave and apse, its walls etched with crosses, far removed from the fortress's warlike past. This monastic phase lasted until the 6th century, after which Masada faded into obscurity, rediscovered only in 1828 by intrepid scholars who scaled its heights. What drew these ascetics to such a remote perch? Perhaps the same isolation that once shielded rebels now offered spiritual solitude. The siege of Masada in 73 to 74 CE stands as the climax of its tale, a confrontation pitting Roman ingenuity against Jewish resolve. Contrary to popular belief, this wasn't a years-long ordeal. Modern analyses using drones and 3D modeling suggest the Romans, under General Lucius Flavius Silva and the 10th Legion, wrapped it up in mere weeks. They encircled the plateau with a wall and 8 camps, then constructed a massive earthen ramp over 200 feet high, using enslaved labor and timber from nearby wadis. Scholars like Guy Stiebel estimate this ramp took under 2 months to build, with 6,000 to 8,000 soldiers working relentlessly. No signs of prolonged battles mark the site. Instead, the evidence points to a swift, calculated assault. The ramp's remnants still snake up the western slope today, a silent witness to Roman engineering prowess. Once the ramp reached the summit, the Romans breached the walls with a battering ram, only to find, according to Josephus, a haunting scene. He claims the 960 defenders, facing capture, chose mass suicide, drawing lots to select executioners who would slay their kin before taking their own lives. Eleazar's speech, as recorded, urged death over enslavement. Let us die unenslaved by our enemies and leave this world as free men in company with our wives and children. But is this account reliable? Archaeological evidence raises doubts. No mass graves have been found, and the skeletal remains, only 28 in total from various spots, don't align with such a scale. Delving into the forensics, a cave below the summit yielded bones that Yadin linked to the rebels, but anthropologist Joe Zeus in 2007 re-examined them, suggesting 3 skeletons might belong to Romans or unrelated figures, based on physical traits and context tied to obscure biblical references. This challenges the suicide narrative, implying perhaps fewer perished or in different ways. Moreover, pottery shards, or Ostraca, inscribed with names were once seen as the lots for the grim ritual. Yet experts now propose they could have been simple ration tickets for food during the siege, a practical tool in a starving stronghold. Nachman ben Yehuda, in his book The Masada Myth, argues Josephus may have embellished the story for dramatic effect, mirroring unverified tales elsewhere in his works. Josephus, after all, survived a similar siege at Yodfat by surrendering. Could guilt or propaganda color his words? Comparing Masada to Yodfat offers intriguing parallels. Both were fortified hilltops swollen with refugees during the Revolt, besieged by Romans who employed similar tactics: encirclement, ramps, and psychological pressure. At Yodfat, Josephus hid in a cave with comrades who drew lots for suicide, but he manipulated his way to survival. This personal echo in his Masada account fuels suspicion. Jody Magnus, in Masada, From Jewish Revolt to Modern Myth, notes Josephus relied on second-hand sources, possibly biased against the Sicarii, whom he painted as fanatics. Were they terrorists or freedom fighters? The label Sicarii derives from Sica, their curved blades used for assassinations, targeting collaborators in crowded markets, a tactic blending stealth and terror. Yet Masada's allure lies in its symbols. The northern palace, with its lower terrace featuring a circular pavilion overlooking the abyss, evokes Herod's grandeur. Excavations uncovered a synagogue, one of the oldest known, where rebels may have gathered for prayer amid the chaos. Its scrolls and benches hint at spiritual resilience. And the bathhouse, with Hippocaust heating systems, mirrors Roman luxury imported to this Jewish outpost, blending cultures in unexpected ways. As we summarize this segment, remember, Masada wasn't just a fortress. It was a microcosm of ancient ingenuity and conflict. Herod's water cisterns, holding over 40,000 cubic meters, turned a barren rock into a viable domain. But we'll circle back to how these systems tie into the siege's swift end in a moment. For now, ponder the human element. The families huddled there, rationing supplies as the Roman noose tightened. Shifting to lesser-explored angles, Masada's ties to broader historical upheavals intrigue. The Great Revolt erupted amid tensions over Roman taxes and religious desecrations, with Masada as a final bastion after Jerusalem's fall in 70 CE. Refugees flocked there, swelling the population and straining resources. Artifacts like arrowheads and ballista stones scattered across the site speak to skirmishes, but the lack of widespread destruction suggests the end came suddenly, perhaps with fire set by the defenders themselves, as Josephus claims. Modern scrutiny has debunked the prolonged siege myth, emphasizing efficiency over endurance. Remote sensing reveals the ramp's composition, layers of soil and wood, optimized for speed. This corrects Hollywood portrayals of endless hardship, grounding the story in feasible logistics. And what of the aftermath? Romans garrisoned Masada briefly, leaving graffiti and coins before abandoning it to the winds. Intriguingly, Masada's narrative evolved in the 20th century, becoming an Israeli symbol of heroism. Soldiers once swore oaths there, "Masada shall not fall again." But scholars like Ben Yehuda critique this as a constructed myth, urging a nuanced view. Did the Sicarii represent mainstream Judaism, or were they extremists? Their actions, including the murder of 700 at Ein Gedi, paint a complex picture, not pure valor, but desperate survival. To keep the mystery alive, consider unanswered puzzles. Where are the missing graves? Could tunnels or hidden escapes explain the sparse remains? We'll test these ideas against evidence shortly. For retention, note how artifacts ground the abstract. Those inscribed Ostraca, tangible links to daily life under siege. As we near the close, reflect on Masada's enduring enigma. This ancient fortress of Masada, with its palaces perched on the precipice, embodies human ambition and fragility. From Herod's opulent retreats to the rebels' defiant stand, it challenges us to question sources and seek truths buried in stone. Thank you for joining this exploration. If these mysteries captivate you, hit that like button, subscribe for more historical enigmas, and share your thoughts in the comments. What aspect of Masada intrigues you most? This is Ancient Chronicles HD. See you in the next mystery.